A dude uses his bike to explain why algorithms are bad for us. And the Silicon Valley poster boy declares his own industry to be in a bubble. In this video, I'll explain why the bike tuber Fortnite is mostly right, where I think he's kind of wrong, and why we must nevertheless heed his warnings in the midst of the AI hype wars. Let us start with Fortnite's take on algorithms. In a channel filled with motorbiking content, he published a video titled, "What is the greedy algorithm and why is it so dangerous?" He calls out the increasing influence of algorithms in our lives, demonstrates how an algorithm works using his bike, then gets onto his feet to make his main point.
Now, say my goal is to get closer to the camera. Well, I could step here or here. This is better. Then I could step here or here. Well, this is better. But from here, I can only go this way and this way, both of which are worse. So the greedy algorithm would say, problem solved. A human, however, has the capacity to be less greedy, to make a short-term sacrifice because it ultimately allows for a better result. Mathematically, we say greedy algorithms will often find the most locally optimal solution at the cost of missing a more globally optimal solution. Poetically, you could say that the code can never hope that something better exists.
Please check out his whole video, it's pretty awesome. However, the key takeaway from the video is that this greedy behavior of algorithms could be harmful, and it's only humans and their power of hope who can look past these quick wins to strive for greater heights. This is the point where I disagree. And to explain why, let's take a quick tangent and go back in memory lane to the most recent technomania.
I am telling you from the bottom of my heart, everyone, that the next biggest thing since the internet itself and social media itself is now upon us. It is called the consumer blockchain.
The reason we take NFTs really seriously, it's a way to connect culture basically to the internet. It's a way to connect art to the internet. It's a way to actually have ownership of art. Kind of look at it and kind of say, okay, how many of the critiques are just like flat out anti-capitalism, right? How many of the critiques are just flat out, people don't like capitalism, people don't like money, they don't like, anything about it. They just inherently distrust and disbelieve anything involving money.
NFTs have become so irrelevant that it is easy to forget they were all the rage only 3 years ago. Now, here's the thing. I actually like the whole Web3 concept. We could take power away from platforms and put it into the hands of consumers. We would no longer be renting our digital goods, but truly owning them. That was cool, right? So why did Web3 fail? It's not because it was bad at developing distributed applications, but because it was too good at spinning up get-rich-quick schemes. In other words, Web3 did not fail due to greedy algorithms, but due to greedy people who chased short-term profits and sabotaged a promising technology that could have served consumer interests.
There's so much greed, because there's so much money attached to it. Web 1 and Web 2, all the money was behind the scenes, the VCs and the startups. But the consumers, us, we didn't get to participate. We just used the products. Unfortunately, and I say this as an entrepreneur and a capitalist, unfortunately, there's so much money being thrown around that we're seeing the worst behavior in people trying to steal and scam.
Which brings us back to the hype driving Wall Street crazy, AI. There are plenty of parallels between the current state of the AI industry and how Web3 was just before its fall. OpenAI started as an idealistic non-profit and has since undergone a chaotic transition into a profit-focused corporation. Instead of empowering people, AI companies are literally stealing people's intellectual property. I guess property rights doesn't matter to capitalists when it makes them rich.
A group of 20 authors has filed a lawsuit against OpenAI for, quote, systematic theft on a mass scale. Those authors include Jodi Pickett, John Grisham, and Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin. Now, writers allege that OpenAI, the creator behind that ChatGPT, has repeatedly violated copyright and uses the writer's work to create content.
Instead of focusing on life-changing capabilities, resources are being put into what has to be called slop.
You think, Patrick, this place just goes on forever?
So it looks and it feels like TikTok, but all of the content is pure AI slop. This is slop, and this is AI slop. Just an endless dribble of computer-generated nonsense that no one cares about.
Sora even tried a brazen attempt to ignore copyright by demanding that rights holders actively opt out of their content being used by OpenAI. Thankfully, this insane move was reversed after backlash from across the creative domain. It really seems like the same old predictable mistakes caused by greedy mindsets. Just like with Web3, could irresponsible profiteering sink the potential of AI? Honestly, I think it could do something far worse. A short-sighted approach to AI development could have catastrophic consequences. Imagine a generation of children might grow up with the anxiety of never being able to tell what is real. Artists who find themselves helpless to prevent creative theft might just give up, leaving us with only the increasingly inbred hallucinations of machines. Gargantuan data centers hungry for energy might accelerate adverse climate effects.
If this trend continues, AI data centers will start to eat the world.
And millions of workers might lose jobs, creating a new class of desperate, impoverished families. Let me conclude the video by saying this. We can only hope that those in power recognize the importance of making wise decisions, not just to improve the next quarter's profits, but to uplift the next generation of people.
Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, Sam, Skibbity Sam, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, Sam, Skibbity Sam, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, 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 yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, Sam, Skibbity Sam, yes, yes. Skibbity Sam, yes, yes, yes.